Hey, welcome to a brand new episode of the Straight Up Show podcast, Music Monday. I am your host, Calvin, and like I said, I'm joined by myself. It's just something that we're doing. So we had a great Music Monday a couple of weeks ago with Victoria Silk, and we're going to keep the ball rolling today. So this one is pretty personal to me. I'm bringing somebody. We're going country today. Let's put it that way. We're going country, and hey, I love country music. I'm from Louisiana, and I grew up in the hood, but I got a lot of friends who are country, and like they taught me a lot of music about Loretta Lynn, Conway Twitty, a lot of people that Willie Nelson, a lot of people that I love in country music. So, I mean, I'm no stranger to country music, and I love it. So, with that being said, today our Music Monday is dealing with the country genre. As I stated before, this is kind of personal to me because the guest I have today is somebody that I know, and I've actually I babysat a long time ago. But if y'all could help me introduce Mr. Patrick Owens. Patrick, how you doing today, sir?
Hey, man, I'm doing great.
All right, this is so weird to be interviewing you about your music, and like I said, I used to babysit you, man. How crazy is that?
Yeah, it was some good times back then, man.
Yeah, it's definitely good times, and like I said, man, just to see you all grown up now, and just now you're a country, singer, man. That's just weird, man. I mean, so just tell us about you before we get into it. Let's just talk to you, and just tell us where you are, who you are, and where you're from.
All right, well, my name's Patrick Owens. I'm 22 years old, and I'm from Shreveport, Louisiana. And I work on the fire department here, and I just now recently started, I guess you'd call it a music career. I'm trying my hardest to start up one.
Well, yeah, no, definitely. Thank you so much for coming on the show. And like I said, I know you say Shreveport, but tell us where you're really from.
I'm really from Stonewall here which is a small town just shy of Shreveport. And there's really not a whole lot to do there. We had just kind of grew up around horses and working kind of on a ranch with my stepdad and my papa every year. Just kind of I always say Shreveport because people are like, oh man, I've never really heard of Stonewall. So Shreveport's a bigger city. We always claim that's where we're from.
And like I said, I had to say that because a lot of people will say like, oh, well, Shreveport, because it's crazy enough to say Louisiana. They think New Orleans all of a sudden, but Shreveport, like, okay, what's in Shreveport? Then like, no, it's Stonewall because, man, I tell y'all what, going to go see Patrick and his older brother, man, in Stonewall, that was a drive, and if you could drive on back roads, there's no lights at all. I mean, it's just pure dark. And so if your chances of hitting the deer is probably 90%, so, but yeah, Patrick and his family, I love them to death. And like I said, they were a pivotal point of my growing up. So much thanks to you and your family, Patrick, always. I love them dearly. But so, I mean, you're a firefighter. I mean, how crazy is that? I mean, how does that go into the music and being a firefighter? I mean, where did your love for music come from? Did it come from like growing up in Stonewall or how's that?
To be honest, I've always kind of growing up, I was always shy, kind of sheltered in a way. And I didn't really have a lot of ways that I expressed myself. I tried the football thing, and it didn't really stick with me. Just like I love football, don't get me wrong, but I just always was the smaller kid. Was never really like built to play, and I needed a way that I could sort of cut loose, vent to myself in a way. And man, I just kind of found music, and in a lot of ways, it helps me. As being a firefighter, it helps me cope with a lot of the more gruesome things that we kind of experience and go through. It's a way for me to just kind of go to my own little quiet place where it's just me, and I can, vent all my issues and problems away, and, there be no negative repercussion for it,
Yeah, like I said, man, and if y'all haven't heard any of Patrick's singing and his music, man, you would be very impressed. We're gonna have more with Patrick Owens, the firefighter country singer, coming up next.
One more night, one more Live in this town, lots to talk about. They don't know, but they don't know. People say I've got a drinking problem.
Hey everybody, Lee here. And guess what? The reviews are in and the Straight Up Show podcast is a hit. Don't believe me? Well, listen to what one of our guest panelists, Dr. Monique Thompson, has to say.
Listen, y'all listening to Straight Up and support this podcast, because I listened in before I came on the show. I liked what I heard. They're really focusing on keeping things real and being real with you, and I like that approach. So you guys support this podcast.
So if you want to listen, donate to the show, have a subject idea, or even want to be a guest, just contact us at straightupshow@gmail.com. That's straightupshow@gmail.com.
All right, so we're back with Patrick Owens, Mr. Country Singer, firefighter country singer, inspiring country singer. You're trying to get your career started, but I mean, how has it been? I've seen as of right now during this recording, we're having the California fires, man. Like, can you just kind of break down what these people may be going through, these firefighters going through, or?
So what they're dealing with right now is, that's a whole different beast than, whenever you say you're a firefighter, it's like an umbrella term. There's so many things that we do that people really don't know about. Like what those guys are doing right now, that's wildland firefighting. And it's in terms as to what I'm used to here in the city is, we're usually we'll have a grass fire now and then, but it's nothing like that. They have, they'll have big planes come through and drop, they'll drop water on certain areas. And, there's a lot of guys you'll see pictures of people carrying chainsaws and all different kinds of tools. And what they're doing is they're pulling back like all the unburnt brush, trying to make what they call fire breaks. And that's mainly what that's a whole, like I said, that's a whole different beast to what we do. We're mainly, structural firefighting and, your EMS calls is what we do here in Shreveport. And so, like I said, we're a very universal term when you say firefighter. We do cover a lot of different things.
And regardless of what you do, whatever kind of firefighter or public servant that you are, I'm pretty sure you guys don't hear this enough, but I want to personally thank you for, putting yourself in the line of duty to actually help somebody, save their lives. And that not only goes to Patrick, all those firefighters out there who are not only just battling like city fires, but especially those in California fighting these fires right now. So, Patrick, you're a firefighter, but now you're trying to be a country singer. How does that even work together? How do you find time to actually be a singer and a firefighter?
So the way that it works with our schedules, we're 24 on, 24 off. Usually I try to keep, when I'm at work, try to keep, my music stuff at home, because when I'm at work, it's just, I want to stay focused, and that's where I want to be in the moment. So what I'll usually do, when I come home, my normal routine is I'll come home, I'll set my uniform down, and I'll, wash my clothes or, let the dogs out, do whatever I need to do. And then I'll sit down for about 2 hours a day. I try to, at least, and I try to just kind of give myself that intimate alone time with my music and try to learn more, because you're constantly learning new stuff, and I'm kind of self-taught. So I learn something new every day. I sit down here and play, the way that like I said before, it really, really helps me kind of just cope with things and, in stressful situations, bring themselves apart. It's fun, I do it for fun too. So, but it helps me day to day get through, pretty much any issues, that I have.
Well, yeah, I'm very impressed with you, Patrick. And trust me, I have a lot of friends who are country artists or inspiring country artist singers, but man, there is just something about you. And, because when your brother gave me your demo, and I was just like, man, this can't be the same Patrick that I've used to babysit. This can't be. and Patrick, my background. I used to be in music, so I hear talent all the time. And man, there is something different about you, man.
I appreciate it.
No, and I'm not blowing smoke either. I'm being serious, not because I know you. It's just, I listen to country, I dabble in country, and you really have that. I mean, there's different styles of country. I mean, Kane Brown, but
Yeah.
I can't. So I mean, just tell us your style of country, or what kind of country that you like to do.
So what I listen to and what I aim my voice and my talent to be with is the more traditional style / what's now being known as Texas country music. The most inspirational music band group to me is one that unfortunately broke up not too long ago. They're called the Turnpike Troubadours, and they turned me on to a whole new sound that was, because everything started swapping to more modern, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's it's the new country genre, but the old whining of the steel guitar and the twin fiddles playing in the background, it's just, to me, it just appeals to me more. And that's kind of that's what I'm trying to be like. That's what I would love to be able to groom myself to come up with some stuff to have that more traditional, but yet a new style too.
And I know you mentioned that the one band, but like, is there anybody else that kind of like gives you like inspiration, or somebody that you kind of listen to?
Absolutely. Well, you've got you got your classics like George Strait, Alan Jackson, George Jones. I mean, those guys are, legends whenever it comes to country music, and you can't pass them up. So I always look up to it. It's cool to look into their stories on them and watching them play, like, which YouTube's awesome now. You can look up and you can see people playing that are big names now, playing in a small bar somewhere, just kind of cut their teeth, making it. One of the biggest, if you were going to go more well-known country musicians is, to me, Alan Jackson. He speaks a lot, which he wrote the song. It slipped my mind right now, but it's he wrote that song about it was about 9/11, and it's killing me. I can't remember the name of it right now.
Where were you? I know it's
where were you when the world stopped turning? Yes.
Yeah.
He just, every song that he's put out is always, I can always either apply something that I've seen, that he just, the way that his voice just projects to me, it's like he's singing right to your heart, man. So that one's always like a more well-known person that I just really enjoy listening to his music. Another one would probably be, if it's back in Texas country now, is you got Whiskey Myers, man. Those people, they're just phenomenal musicians. Every song they have, it's like you can feel like what they're singing about. You can really follow the story well. They write their songs. There's hardly any comparison now what you would hear posted like on normal radio stations. And I would highly suggest people reaching out, and if they haven't heard of them, look them up, because they are phenomenal musicians. But that's kind of what I've been trying to groom myself to be like.
Now let me ask you this.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, man.
No, it's okay, Patrick. No, so I bet you didn't think I knew that Alan Jackson song, did you? See? Yeah, I said I know some country.
You got me. I couldn't think of it, and I'm the one being like, "Oh, I'm a country singer." I couldn't think of it,
Yeah. See, you can't judge a book by its cover, y'all. See, I know I love some country, so that's why we here on Music Monday with Patrick Owens, but. So I want to ask you a question, because my biggest thing is, and I might get a lot of hate mail for this, but what kills me is I'm not a big Kane Brown fan. I'm not a big. What really disturbs me is how Taylor Swift just switched over like that. That's not my. I don't really like that. People, and she got a lot of awards for country music, but it really wasn't country, or my idea of country. I feel that way about new evolving music, even when it comes to rap music. So, but with that being said, I want to ask you, do you think that country music is just the real true country music is dying, or it's not as popularized?
Well, to me, I think that it's following more of what's popular now. You notice, like, a lot of the times, to me, a lot of the songs that are on the radio, they sound the same to me. And I'm sure that, and I'm not knocking anybody here, don't get me wrong. It's still, if that's your music, that's great. It just, to me, it's not the heart and soul of country. To me, it's not, because, when you have songs like, you can't, in my book, whenever you put on Amarillo by Morning and you hear the entire band playing behind George Strait's voice, it's more passionate music to me. It might not be about necessarily a passionate song, but you can hear that there's every musician, every instrument in that song, you can hear it. And now it's, to me, I can't really, to me, it sounds kind of like it's mimicking a little bit of the tracks from rap music, and they're just throwing it in saying it's country, in my opinion. And,
like, what's his name? Lil Nas X. What's it called?
Yeah.
I forgot what it's called. Hip hop music. I forgot what it's
Old
called.
Town Road, that song?
Yeah. With that, but they have a genre now for like hip hop or something like that. Like it's something weird. Yeah, I definitely understand you about that, because on our last Music Monday, I talked about how I don't listen to the lyrics first. I listen to the music and see like the different layers. Hear the actual banjo or hear the pluck guitar. I'm that kind of way. I don't know if I'm assuming that's what you're trying to say as well.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Sorry for the sir again, but
no, it's good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of talent. Now, I'm not saying that it doesn't take talent to make that music, but what I'm saying is there's a lot more raw talent in there. There's more people coming in and playing. There's people that have mastered that. And what you hear on the like your George Strait, your Alan Jacksons, you hear people that went in there and they spent their life learning an instrument, and they get to share it with people. And a lot of the new country artists, you don't see a band playing behind them, or I haven't, at least. I'm not saying that everybody does that, but I can't. To me, it's not my style, because you can't get up and you can't respect the thought that there's nobody but a singer singing. And there's, like I said, that's your style. There's nothing wrong with that. I just like actually being able to hear the instruments and focus in on, listen to what that fiddle player did, whenever they broke and they went into a solo and it was the guitar and them just going back and forth, trading back and forth. There's one song that I forgot to mention earlier. I'm sorry to go back here, but it's a Cody Jinks song. It's called Heavy Load. And it kind of does exactly what I was just talking about. It's a fiddle and a guitar just going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and it's just really, really cool song. I would want people to branch out and listen to the more traditional style, because everybody now thinks, hey, that's the only kind of country music that's on the radio.
Definitely love your style of play. Love your music. We're gonna have more Patrick Owens, Mr. Patrick Owens, country singer, coming up next on the Straight Up Show podcast, Music Monday.
Dear rodeo, I'd be lying if I tried to tell you I don't think about you. After all the miles and the wild nights that we've been through, Lord knows we had a few. Dear rodeo, I'd like to say that I took the reins and rode away.
Hey, Calvin here, host of the Straight Up Show podcast. And guess what? We're back bigger and better than ever with new guests, new straight up topics, and a new way to support the Straight Up Show podcast. That's right. You can now support our podcast by becoming a Patreon patron. Straight Up has 4 different tiers that you can choose from, with each tier having their own perks. Your monthly donation helps us produce efficient Straight Up content that you love so much. For more details, visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/Straight Up Show Podcast 318. That's patreon.com/Straight Up Show Podcast 318. All right, so we're back with Patrick Owens, country singer, aspiring country singer. And I say inspiring because, you really don't have any kind of material yet, right?
No, not really.
And that's fine. And that's fine because, it's still music. You do a lot of covers, which we'll show on the podcast, and you'll see it. But, can you just tell us about some future projects that you're working on right now? Or?
Oh, absolutely. I've been actually in the studio here recently working on, it's another cover song that we've been doing, because we're trying to come up with a whole demo CD that's going to have, a mix of covers, and I have a few originals that I have actually written. I haven't yet to completely finish those. So we're not like, that's kind of what the holdup is on why there hasn't been any newer stuff out than the other two that we kind of just threw out there to, hey, y'all listen to this, There's a few songs we're working on still, and that's kind of what we're trying to do is finish up our first official like demo CD that's going to be mixed with some covers and some originals that I've written myself.
Oh, you actually have like a whole crew and everything, right?
Not necessarily. It's a lot on me, and I actually have been working with this guy. He's a friend of my dad's. He's incredible. He's got his own studio, and he's just, the two songs that, my demo that you heard, he actually produced those, and he is just phenomenal, man. He really does a good job, and he's helping me a lot on this, and he's kind of the thorn in my side with it, on my days when I'm tired and I'm like wanting to just come home and just kind of be lazy. He's like, hey man, let's keep working. You need to push this stuff out. So he helps me a lot. So it's just me and him pretty much.
And like, hey, it's okay to start small. Because that's why I wanted you to have you right now. Because there's some people who have not heard about you, and I want to make sure people can hear, because I'm a fan of country music and I know exactly what the sounds are. And hey, man, whatever you need from us to promote your music, let us know. But Patrick Owens, y'all, he has a voice. Make sure you follow him. And Patrick, if people want to follow you on social media and things like that, how can they follow you?
You can actually, I have a music page up on Facebook, and you can find me at Patrick Owens Music on Facebook. I haven't yet come out with my Instagram, where I'm trying to branch out to more social media platforms. But right now, all we have is a page on Facebook at Patrick Owens Music. That's pretty much it right now.
All right, and I'm pretty sure. I want to extend the invitation to you to come back on the show if you do get that single.
Oh, absolutely, man! I would love to. I'd be honored.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hey guys, it's been my pleasure talking to Patrick Owens. I'm sorry, but I got to call you this Pat. But I know you probably haven't heard it as a kid. But ladies and gentlemen, Patrick Owens, country music star, Mr. Firefighter himself. But hey, if you listen to some of his music is fire. But before you go, Patrick, you're gonna play a little something for us. Is that right?
Oh, absolutely.
Darling, I still hear your name through the windshield wipers in the driving rain. I'll be crossing the Rocky Mountains in the morning, and it's one too many lonely nights when the highway comes to be a way of life. Seems like about the time I'm getting there, I'm going. Hear that Peterbilt whine down the solid white line. Don't make no money if I don't make it there on time. Houston, Dallas, San Antonio, wind it up until I'm home. And I've got 14 years to get you back in my arms. But I know that you'll be waiting there, and you know that's a way, girl, that I can bear. I can see your face in the headlights, lonely there. With the big old moon steady on the rise and the hammer down across the grapevine, I'll be pushing through till I'm back where I belong. Hear that Peterbilt whine down the solid white line. Don't make no money if I don't make it there on time. Houston, Dallas, San Antonio, wind it up until I'm home. I've got 14 years to get you back in my arms. Watch the sunset on the west Arizona sky. Feel the cool wind on the cold El Paso night. Hear that Peterbilt whine down the solid white line. Make no money if I don't make it there on time. Houston, Dallas, San Antonio, it up until I'm home. And I've got 14 years to get you back in my home. And I've got 14 years to get you back in my home.